Hey there, good afternoon. Dr. Z here, greeting you in light, love, peace, and harmony. Today is day 2 of our 7-day Lunch and Learn video series for CEOs and HR directors. And I am sharing some of my best practices and solutions that I've learned over a career of helping disengaged teams and organizations to turn themselves around. And I'm going to be giving you some tips that you can use immediately today to take some action. Today, we're going to talk about the real costs of unhappy and disengaged employees. Now, as an HR professional, you already know the Gallup poll tells us that 7 out of 10 employees are disengaged to some degree. You have your category of actively engaged employees that are bringing the passion and the love, commitment, and extra effort. That's about 29% of employees. You have your not engaged group that are mediocre. They're doing just enough to keep their jobs checked out, really. And that's about 45% of employees in the organization. And then the actively disengaged people are those that's in so much frustration and pain that they're sabotaging the good works of everyone else, bringing everything else down, people productivity down, and causing a lot of angst. Well, when you look at these bottom two figures, 45% and 26%, that's 71% of employees are disengaged to some degree. So that means that only 3 out of 10 are actually bringing the love, the passion, the commitment, innovation, and the extra effort. So the question I ask you is, what is that costing you? And what is it doing to the bottom line? We all know we want to have the best existence in our lives and businesses. So might that mean that we want to engage to reset happiness in the workplace, maybe? I think so, because engagement is happiness, and happiness is engagement. The more happier people are, the more they're going to be engaged and be productive, and the more profitable our businesses will be. So why is this so important? Because the more we know, the better we do. The better we do, the better results we get. Otherwise, we're just living with our head in the sand, oblivious to what's going on. And that cannot be good for our businesses. So let's calculate some conservative numbers to see what it costs to have unhappy and disengaged employees. And these costs really are around absenteeism, turnover, managers' time dealing with poor performers, and preventable errors, those 4 categories. So thinking about absenteeism, clearly disengaged people are going to be more absent than engaged people. And Forbes gives us some figures on what it costs for hourly employees as well as exempt employees to be absent. If you want the backdrop details on how we come up with these calculations, I'll be happy to give it to you. But when we look at the Forbes estimates on a 100 employee person with 20%, 100 employee organization, with 20% hourly, 80% exempt, that's going to cost you about $280,000 a year, absenteeism alone. And what does it cost if they're absent during high season? Everybody has to take their vacation by a certain time, so everybody needs to be off that last month. Well, that can definitely have an impact when people aren't around. You don't have full coverage to take care of your customers because of absenteeism. Turnover cost, that's losses in productivity when you have to hire someone, train someone, and then you have lost cost when they're absent, also recruiting costs. Did you know that U.S. companies are spending $160 billion on turnover? That's a Forbes statistic. Anyway, if the average salary for an employee is $50,000 a year, it's going to cost $100,000 to replace them. This is according to Society of Human Resource Management, SHRM. They say it costs twice as much to replace a person, twice their annual salary, that is. So $50,000 a year costs you $100,000 to replace them. If you have a 20% turnover rate, that's $200,000. I'm sorry, that's $2 million. $2 million in turnover for a 100-employee organization. Preventable errors are expensive too. I had one client, they lost $435,000 on one error by a disengaged employee, and they couldn't get it back. Terrible, horrible. So you can calculate the loss of preventable errors at about $300,000. Again, if you want the details, we can give you to you. And then last, what does it cost your managers when they have to deal with poor performance? They say it's about 20% of their time. That's the estimate. So based on a manager's average salary, 20% of their time, one day out of the week, they're dealing with poor performers. That's going to cost about $172,644. So I know it's a lot of details here, but overall, the estimated cost for disengagement for a 100-person organization, $280,000 for absenteeism, $2 million for turnover, $300,000 preventable errors, $172,644 for cost of manager's time. That's $2,752,644 is the real cost of unhappy and disengaged employees in a 100-person organization. That's staggering. Now, the average estimations of the benefits of an employee engagement program are calculated to lower absenteeism by 37%, lower preventable errors by 41%, lower turnover by 25%. That's going to be a total savings of about $726,600. $726,600 per year on a 100-employee organization. Now imagine what that savings could do for your net profit. Yeah. So here's what you can do today. Here's a call to action for you. Calculate an estimate of your organization's annual cost based on these averages. What is costing you to have disengaged employees? And if your organization is larger than 100 employees, then your estimation will be larger. If it's smaller than 100, then it'll be smaller. If you want to do something about it, then take those calculations to your manager and have a discussion about the cost of disengaged employees on productivity, on the business, and on profitability. Thank you for your attention. I hope you will get some benefit from these short sessions. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be here every day this week, next 5 days, sharing with you and your team how to engage and reset happiness in the workplace for more productivity and profitability. So join me tomorrow during your lunchtime. And I'm going to be talking about 7 causes of toxicity and turnover in the workplace. Thank you very much. Peace, blessings, and love.